3 weeks before my brother's wedding, he added me back to the family group chat just to ask one thing. Are you coming or not? Don't make it weird. At the wedding, he stood beside his billionaire father-in-law, pointed at me in front of 200 guests, and said, "This is Meredith, our family failure." My mother laughed and added, "We don't brag about her." Then the bride's father stopped smiling. He looked at me like he had just seen a ghost in a database report and said 5 words that turned the whole reception cold. "So, it's really you. Welcome back to Velora Stories. My name is Meredith Fisher. I'm 33 years old, and by the time my brother realized the company he was bragging about had been built on my work, the investor he needed most was already walking away. 6 weeks before the wedding, I was sitting alone in my apartment in Charlotte, eating leftover soup from a chipped ceramic bowl when my phone buzzed. The Fisher family group chat. I had been removed from that chat 3 weeks earlier. No explanation, no warning, just gone. Then suddenly I was back. My brother Liam had sent one message. "Are you coming or not? Don't make it weird." That was Liam's way of inviting me to his wedding. Not, "I hope you can make it." Not, "It would mean a lot." Just a command. My mother followed immediately. "Meredith, please confirm. Sienna's family is very particular about head counts. Sienna Calloway, Liam's fiancée. Beautiful, polished, old Southern money, and daughter of Gerald Calloway, one of the biggest venture capital investors in the data infrastructure world. I knew his name because everybody in my industry knew his name. His fund had invested in companies that used infrastructure my team had built. But my family did not know that. To them, I did computer things. My father sent the last message. "It would mean a lot, Mir." 6 words. That was the longest text my father had sent me in almost 2 years. I put my phone down. My soup had gone cold. Here is what you need to understand about my family. They had one success story, and it was not me. It was Liam. Liam, who dropped out of business school and launched a data intelligence startup called Viridia. Liam, who raised money, gave interviews, wore expensive sneakers with blazers, and used phrases like disrupting enterprise intelligence, even though he could not explain his own architecture without checking notes. And then there was me, the quiet daughter, the technical one, the one who built systems nobody at the dinner table could see. At Halcyon Systems, I was a senior data systems architect. I had designed a real-time orchestration engine called Cascade. It handled pipeline routing for enterprise clients in finance, healthcare, and logistics. 400 million transactions a day across 9 states. If you had swiped a card, transferred money, tracked medication inventory, or shipped freight in the Southeast, there was a chance my architecture touched that transaction. But in my mother's house, I was still the daughter who worked with computers. The last time I went home for dinner was in January. My mother had invited the Pattersons from next door. Nice people, retired, polite. Mrs. Patterson asked me what I did for work. Before I could answer, my mother waved her hand like she was clearing smoke. "Oh, Meredith does computer things, databases or something." Then she smiled and said her favorite line. "We don't brag about her." She said it lightly, like modesty, like kindness, like a family rule. Mrs. Patterson looked uncomfortable. My father stared at his plate. Liam leaned back in his chair and grinned. The rest of dinner was about Viridia, Liam's new office, Liam's new investor meetings, Liam's podcast interview, Liam's feature in a tech magazine. Nobody mentioned that 4 years earlier, Liam had called me at 11 at night in a panic because he had promised investors a working prototype he did not have. He had a pitch deck, a leased office, and a demo running on a spreadsheet macro. "I just need the core module," he told me. "Something functional for the meeting. I'll hire a real team after the round closes." My mother called me twice that week. "Your brother is under pressure." My father texted, "He could use your help, Mir." So I helped, because he was my brother. Because I was stupid enough to think family meant something when people needed you. I spent 3 weeks building him a stripped-down data routing engine. Not Halcyon code, not stolen code. Mine, written from scratch on my personal laptop. Nights, weekends, after midnight, clean architecture, documented modules, a functional prototype. We signed a consulting agreement. Liam promised $10,000 and co-architect credit on the technical documentation. He paid me $1,500. The credit never appeared. 14 months later, Viridia's public product page described its proprietary intelligence engine. I recognized the structure immediately. Same architecture, same module flow, same naming patterns, same logic. My fingerprints were all over the bones. I said nothing, because I knew exactly what would happen. My mother would say I was jealous. My father would go silent. Liam would grin and say, "Family helps family." So I closed the tab, printed everything I had, and put it in a blue folder. The consulting agreement, the original commit logs, the architecture spec, the email Liam sent at 2:13 a.m. "Can you just make the demo work? I'll handle the rest." That email was the last honest thing my brother ever wrote to me. I kept the folder in the bottom drawer of my desk, not as revenge, as a record. Some people keep journals. I keep documentation. 3 weeks before the wedding, Liam was everywhere. A regional tech magazine called him the quiet disruptor. The article praised Viridia's proprietary engine. One paragraph described the architecture almost word for word from the spec I wrote 4 years earlier. My mother posted the article in the family chat. Our boy. Champagne emojis. Hearts. Applause. I did not react. Nobody noticed. A few days later, Liam messaged me privately. "Can you take a quick look at something? 1 hour max. Family favor." Same tone as 4 years ago. Same trap with better shoes. He sent me a 6-page technical summary. It was clearly prepared for investors. Probably Gerald Calloway's team. I read it in 14 minutes. The architecture section was mine. The throughput numbers were inflated. The proprietary innovation section described an algorithm I had published in a Halcyon white paper 2 years earlier. He was not just using my work. He was exaggerating it to raise money. I closed the document. I did not reply. The next morning, my mother called. "Meredith, at the wedding, please be supportive." "I'll be polite." "I don't mean polite. I mean supportive. Don't bring up Halcyon. Don't talk about technical things. Don't make Liam feel like you're competing." Competing. As if building real infrastructure and repeating investor buzzwords were the same sport. Then she said, "For once, let your brother have his moment." For once. I almost laughed. When had I ever taken his moment? I had spent my whole life shrinking so he could look taller. But that week, something in me changed. Maybe it was turning 33. Maybe it was the conference invitation sitting unanswered in my inbox. Maybe it was simply exhaustion. But I decided one thing. I would go to the wedding. I would not start anything. I would not make a scene. But I would not lie about my own work. Not for Liam. Not for my parents. Not for anyone. 2 days later, I received a LinkedIn message. Devin Pratt, Senior Technical Analyst at Callaway Ventures. The message was professional, careful, specific. "Miss Fisher, our firm is conducting technical due diligence on a portfolio candidate in the data infrastructure space. During review, we identified architectural patterns and module structures closely aligned with published documentation attributed to your work on Cascade at Halcyon Systems. We would appreciate the opportunity to discuss provenance and authorship of certain foundational components." I read it 3 times. Then I opened the bottom drawer. The blue folder was still there. Consulting agreement, commit logs, architecture spec, email, everything. The truth had not disappeared. It had just been waiting for someone to ask the right question. I replied to Devin, "I'm available Thursday." The rehearsal dinner was held at a vineyard outside Charlotte. White tablecloths, string lights, expensive wine. My place card was at a table near the kitchen door. Of course. Liam introduced his parents with warmth. He introduced Sienna's family with reverence. When he got to me, he paused. "And this is my sister, Meredith. She works with computers." A few polite smiles. My mother nodded like that explained enough. During dinner, Liam gave a toast about Viridia. He said, "There were nights I coded until sunrise just to make the dream real." I ate my salmon and did not correct him. After dinner, a man with wire-rimmed glasses stopped near my table. "Meredith Fisher?" "Yes. I saw your name on an infrastructure panel. Scalable orchestration architecture, right?" I nodded. He smiled slightly. "Impressive work." Then he walked away. I never got his name, but Liam saw the exchange. And for the first time that evening, his smile twitched. The wedding was at Callaway Estate. 22 acres, stone manor house, marble floors, reception hall with ceilings so high it made everyone look smaller. I wore a navy dress. Simple, clean. No jewelry except my watch. My mother looked disappointed the second she saw me, which meant I had chosen correctly. The ceremony was beautiful. Sienna looked radiant. Liam cried exactly on cue. My parents sat in the second row, glowing like the stock market had personally thanked them. I sat 4 rows back between strangers. The reception began at 6. My seat was table 11, outer ring, near a side exit, beside a potted fern. Liam found me by the bar. "You're at 11, he said. "Great table. You can see the whole room," meaning nobody important could see me. Then he took my elbow and started introducing me around. "This is Meredith. She's in IT. This is my sister, the quiet one. Family bookworm. Never leaves her desk. Small cuts. Friendly enough to pass as jokes. Sharp enough to bleed." My parents smiled along. When Sienna's mother asked what I did, my mother jumped in. "She's in tech support, I think. Something like that." I let it land. But when Liam leaned close and whispered, "See? Nobody cares, Mare. Just relax." I pulled my arm away. Not dramatically, just enough for him to feel it. "You can introduce me," I said. "You don't get to script me." His grin faltered. Then he laughed. "Relax. It's a wedding." At 6:30, Gerald Calloway entered the room. The energy shifted, not loudly, but completely. Some people carry money. Gerald carried decisions. He moved through the reception with calm precision. A brief handshake, a measured nod, eyes that read before they reacted. Liam saw him and straightened. My parents shifted into performance mode. My mother adjusted her pearls. My father set down his champagne. Liam looked across the room and spotted me. His eyes lit up, not with affection, with usefulness. "Dad," Liam called toward Gerald, "you haven't met my sister yet." He pulled me into the circle like a prop. Then, standing beside his new father-in-law and half the Calloway circle, Liam placed a hand on my shoulder and said loudly, "This is Meredith, our family failure." He laughed. A few guests laughed with him. My mother lifted her glass and added, "We don't brag about her." I stood still. No smile, no flinch, no nervous laugh. 33 years of being the punchline, and I was done laughing on cue. Gerald Calloway did not laugh. He looked at Liam, then at my mother, then at me. His expression changed. Slowly. His eyes narrowed. His face went still. Then he said, "So, it's really you." The circle froze. Liam's grin locked in place. "I'm sorry," he said. Gerald ignored him. "Ms. Fisher, Cascade, Halcyon Systems." I nodded. "Yes. Your architecture runs in 11 of my portfolio companies." 12, I said. MedSync migrated in January. Gerald's jaw tightened. Not anger. Recognition. "Devon's report flagged the provenance issue last week," he said quietly. "I assumed Monsieur Fisher was a contractor." Liam laughed too quickly. "Wait, what is this?" Gerald turned to him. "Your engine. Viridia's core architecture. It appears to be based on her work." Liam's face changed. 1 second. That was all it took. Charm became panic. "Okay, hold on," Liam said. "She helped with an early prototype. That's it. Everything Viridia is today is my team, my vision." Gerald looked at him. "Can you explain the load distribution algorithm in your core pipeline?" Liam blinked. "I mean, the technical team handles specifics." "The algorithm," Gerald said. Liam's mouth opened, closed, opened again. Gerald continued. "Your documentation describes it as proprietary. Can you explain how it works?" Liam looked at me. And there it was. The moment. The golden child discovering the floor beneath him had always been someone else's ceiling. Gerald turned back to me. "Ms. Fisher, I'm going to ask you directly. Is Viridia's core engine your original work?" "Yes." One word. No drama, no shaking, no speech. Just yes. The core engine began as a data routing prototype I built for Liam 4 years ago. I have a consulting agreement, original commit history, architecture spec, and email correspondence. The IP was never formally assigned to Viridia. I was not paid in full. I was not credited. The room around us was quiet now. Not the whole reception. Just enough. Enough for shame to have witnesses. Liam stepped forward. "You're doing this here? At my wedding? You invited me. You planned this." "I didn't plan anything." Gerald asked me a question. I answered it. "You're bitter." "No," I said. "I'm documented." Gerald turned to Liam. Our investment was contingent on clean IP ownership. If the foundational architecture is unresolved, the round cannot proceed. Liam went red. My company is not hers. Gerald's voice stayed calm. Then explain the algorithm. Liam said nothing. My mother stood. Gerald, this is a wedding. Meredith has always had issues. She's jealous of Liam. She doesn't understand business. Gerald turned to her. Mrs. Fisher, your daughter's architecture processes hundreds of millions of transactions a day. Her published work is referenced in multiple technical reviews. In my industry, she is one of the most respected infrastructure architects in the Southeast. My mother's face went pale. For the first time in my life, someone important had corrected her version of me in public, and she could not wave it away. Liam backed toward the display table. There was a glass award on it. Rising Founder, Triad Business Journal. He grabbed it like proof. I built this, he said, but his hand was shaking. The trophy slipped. It hit the marble floor and shattered. The sound cracked through the room. Guests turned. Sienna stopped near the dance floor staring at him. Among the broken glass, one word was still visible. Founder. Liam looked down at it, then at me, then at Gerald, and he understood. The investment was gone. Not because I attacked him, because someone finally asked what he had actually built. My father pulled me aside near the coat room 10 minutes later. His tie was loose. His face looked older than 62. Myrrh, he said, your mother and I put in $140,000. I know. Is it gone? I don't know. His eyes filled. We believed him. I looked at him. You believed him because you wanted to. He had no answer. My mother appeared behind him. Meredith, you need to fix this. I didn't break it. You should have stayed quiet. There it was. Not an apology, not regret, just the old family rule. Stay small, stay useful, stay silent. I picked up my coat. I'm done paying for Liam's lies with my silence. Then I walked out. Gerald found me under the portico. The night air was cool. Inside, the reception was still happening, but it sounded far away. Ms. Fisher, he said. I turned. The investment in Viridia is not proceeding. That decision was already likely before tonight. This only confirmed the issue. I nodded. Then he said, for what it's worth, your work speaks for itself. It always has. I did not need his approval, but I will not pretend it meant nothing. Thank you, I said. Then I left. Callaway Ventures withdrew from Viridia within 72 hours. The reason was clean and corporate, unresolved IP provenance. 2 other investors pulled back within a week. The tech magazine that had called Liam a quiet disruptor published a follow-up, less flattering. Viridia did not collapse overnight. Companies rarely do. But the story holding it together was gone. Sienna postponed the wedding celebration, then moved back into her parents' estate. My parents lost most of the retirement money they had invested. My father texted me once. Are you okay, Myrrh? My mother waited 3 days, then wrote, you could have told us. I replied, I did. For years. You just didn't think I was worth hearing. Then I muted the chat. The Monday after the wedding, I went back to Halcyon. Cascade was still running. 400 million transactions a day. 9 states. 0 failed routes. No applause. No champagne. No family group chat. Just the quiet satisfaction of a system that held because I built it correctly. Nora from my team brought me coffee. She sat beside my desk and said, you look like someone who finally exhaled. I laughed. Then I opened the conference invitation I had been ignoring. The Infrastructure Summit in Atlanta. They wanted me on the main panel. This time, I accepted. Not because Gerald Callaway saw me. Not because Liam fell apart. Because I had spent 10 years building systems that held the weight of industries while my family called me a failure. And I was finished letting people who understood nothing name what I was. That's my story. A blue folder, a wedding toast, and one question my brother could not answer. If your family called you the failure, would you have stayed quiet? And what state are you watching from right now?